Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the final four when it comes to the NFL. We have on the AFC side the Kansas City Chiefs facing the Buffalo Bills in Arrowhead. And then we also have the Green Bay Packers who are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I wanted to take time and make sure that I got my entire crew involved in this little piece here. Tonight, I have the three gentlemen who will be joining me to discuss each one of the four teams' strengths, weaknesses, what they think is going to happen, and more importantly, how the team that they are representing is going to be impactful in getting to the dance Super Bowl 55, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, February 7th, 2021. So, with that, we are I'm very surprised that we got to this point. Let me just say this, because as we all know, 2020 was just a unique year, if you will. Uh, it was crazy, but the fact that we got to this point, I think, speaks to not only the NFL, the league as a whole, but the players, because they were committed to having this season. And I think we should take a moment to really appreciate the fact that what they did both on and off the field to give us some sort of entertainment, to allow us to break away from our normal day to day. We were in such a negative space, if you will, that the NFL and I mean the NBA, the WNBA, the NHL, MLB, they all gave us that escape that we needed. And so the fact that now, here, January 18th, 2021, we can say there will be an AFC and an NFC championship game. I mean, I think we need to marvel in that fact. I'd also be remiss if I did not say Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We honor a man who was a pioneer, who was a trendsetter, who was one of the pivotal key figures in the Black community about speaking out for equal rights, equal justice, and just everybody being given the opportunity to that true American dream. So I want to resonate on that for a moment. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been supportive of the sports arena over the last couple of years. It's been great. With that, I know my man Jake is here, saluting the slate to be joining us. So take a minute. I'll be back in just a moment.
Wait till you guys eat this.
Wow! Hey, look, it's so
Give me some of that. That's what I'm talking about.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and get the man in here. I call him the Hitman, one of my true dear friends here, Mr. Jake Rongholt. Jake, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry I'm a little late. StreamYard, for some reason, just
crashed on me. So I was like, all right, well, I got to start it up real quick here. So, but let's do this.
No worries at all, brother. And I just want a quick shout out to your girlfriend. Happy birthday to your girlfriend, Stephanie, man. Tell her I say thank you for allowing you to be a part of this. I know you two are celebrating today. But, my brother, let's jump into this. So, Green Bay, NFC Championship game. The road to the Super Bowl goes, in fact, through Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers hosting his first NFC Championship game. Let me get your thoughts on this, man.
I don't know what else to say about it, but I mean, this is the time for him. I mean, he's 0-3 in his last championship games, but this is the first one he's played at Lambeau Field, and you can just see it. Even though this team looked like they didn't even play, A-level football against the Rams, it looked like B-level football, and it feels like they're saving the best for last year. They're about ready. They're ready to get into Tampa. They want to play their A game. They're going to be playing against the GOAT, Tom Brady. I thought they had a great game plan. They opened up the running game right out the gate. Over 188 yards, Jones touchdown, 36 rushes. That opened it up for the passing game. A good short passing routes, able to use that yak to their advantage. And then when you needed it, when the Rams were starting to kind of chip away at that lead, Rodgers gave a little smirk, went deep, and found Allen Lazard for his forgiving touchdown. It was a great moment there, 32-18. And it just feels good right now if you're a Packer fan, because not only is this offense clicking right now, but this defense is now stepping up. 4 sacks against Jared Goff. That was a big-time key there. Even though he went 21 for 27, he barely got 170 yards passing. And that is something to be impressed with. And then everybody was talking about it. How was Jalen Ramsey going to do against Davante Adams? Well, guess what? 4 receptions, 65 yards. However, there was a great play on the first touchdown, and that was when he shifted off to the left, man in motion. Jalen followed him, and then they sprint for it, and he's able to get the gold medal and get that touchdown, while Jalen Ramsey has to settle for the silver. So there's a lot to love here about the Packers. Now it is time to put it all together. Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers' first championship appearance at Lambeau. This is it. You're playing the GOAT. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, and watching the game yesterday, you definitely could tell that Aaron Rodgers, for a man who has had to overcome so much adversity, first off, having to sit behind Brett Favre, and then even with this year's draft, they kind of drafted the heir apparent in Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers is still playing at such an elite level that, you have to ask yourself what's left for him. But I'm glad you brought up that defense, a defense that hasn't been so great in previous years, really looking to step themselves up. Now, listen, as you said, going against the GOAT, Tom Brady's got a ton of weapons. So I have to ask you, Jake, what is Green Bay's defense going to do to contain all the mouths that Brady is going to try and feed on Sunday?
You got to do it. They did it at New England. Get him out of sync, hit him, sack him, make him realize that this defense is going to be tough and he's going to get out of there. If you get Tom Brady comfortable, and let's keep this in mind, he wasn't comfortable against the New Orleans Saints. He only had 199 yards, but when they needed him the most, he stepped up and got those touchdown passes he needed, got that quarterback sneak. And that is one thing is that the Saints never sacked Brady. They only got to him one time, and it was early in the game. Otherwise, Tom Brady was free to do whatever he wanted, which was he wanted to be the guy handing off the ball to Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette and let them do the dirty work while he finishes it off. He was like a relief pitcher for the Tampa Bay Bucks in this game. And that is something that Bruce Arians likes to do and Tom Brady likes to do. But now you're going into this. This feels like vengeance right now for the Packers. This feels like redemption for the Buccaneers because Tom Brady wants to do this. He wants to get this team to the Super Bowl because Bill Belichick decided to move on with Cam Newton. Belichick's out of the playoffs, and Tom Brady has a golden opportunity to get into another Super Bowl. The Packers are going to look to try and have different plans for the GOAT.
I agree. So, Jake, before I let you go, and again, thank you for joining me here tonight, my brother. You've got to give me an early bird X factor and what's your prediction of what the score is going to be this Sunday when Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to Lambeau to face your Green Bay Packers.
It's going to be a close game. It just matters what happens in the fourth quarter, who steps up, who gets the home run ball. I mean, who takes the chance that they need to punch their ticket to Tampa. I'm going to go with the Packers. They're at home. They're feeling it right now. This defense is playing at an excellent level. And, the wideouts are really stepping up. And one of the best things about this team is they're unselfish with the football. So he can scan the field, find Tunyon, find Lazard, find Adams. If he wants to go deep and get it to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he will. Because just like you say, Tom Brady has a lot of weapons. Guess what? So does Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win this in a close one, 31-24.
Awesome. Jake, thank you again so much for joining me here tonight on the Sports Arena, brother. I look forward to talking to you in the near future. My man, Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast, making sure he tells both sides of the story. Make sure y'all check him out. Brother, I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is one down, and I got two to go. I'm going to take a real quick break. When I come back, I'm going to bring my brother Alex Fleming in here, and he's going to be talking about a team that you may have heard him talk about once or twice this season. More with the Sports Arena. Be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, by the way, any Sports Arena merchandise you need, make sure you check my man Byron out. ASE365.com. He's got all your Sports Arena merchandise. So, as I said before I went to break, my man Alex Fleming, granted he lives in Orlando, but he has been covering this team, I think, for this season. And he has been trying to tell people, myself included, that we should not be sleeping on this team that I'm going to ask him to talk about here tonight. So let me go ahead and get my brother in here. Florida Sun Review, Magic Perspective, Raptors Report. This brother's got a laundry list of things that he does, but is truly one of the most humblest men I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Mr. Alex Fleming, good evening, sir. How are you?
It was a beautiful day today at work. I got to chill and relax. I'm seeing people flock away from the Sports Arena because they don't like hearing my voice. That actually makes me happy.
So, my brother, I know you have covered Tampa Bay over the last 6 seasons, but you this season have been very, very vocal about the Buffalo Bills. And now they are in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this Sunday. So, Alex, I just want to talk to you for a moment about Kansas City. Well, excuse me. I want to talk to you about Buffalo first. Could you please remind the people about the greatness that is coming to existence with Josh Allen and Stephen Ness and Cole Beasley and the Buffalo Bills, sir?
I don't mind if I do. This all started because a gentleman that I'm a good friend with now upset me because I thought he was a Patriot in Tampa Bay Bucks clothing. So I decided to write an article about the Buffalo Bills. I have a friend who covers the Buffalo Bills, and he was like, bro, don't stop writing because the Bills organization actually reads your stuff. So since Bills can't go for that, I decided to write another one. And then there was the scene of the crime that happened in Arizona whenever they played San Francisco. And I was constantly trying to tell people who got digs. And then lo and behold, it was the Bills versus the North. I think I wrote on the Buffalo Bills 7 or 8 times this year, and I followed them throughout. Here's what some of you guys don't seem to understand. You got 2 legendary quarterbacks, one superstar who has his own cereal box where you can see the back of his jersey on if you get the whole collection. And then you got the up-and-comer that people thought was going to be a bust. That would be Josh Allen. Josh Allen didn't have a good rookie year. His second year, they made it to the playoffs but lost to Deshaun Watson. Has anyone been paying attention to what this man has accomplished? He broke Jim Kelly's record. He threw for more than 4,500 yards. Guys, he's got 30-plus touchdowns passing, and he almost has 10 touchdowns rushing. He's completing 75% of his throws. You can't ignore numbers like these. Oh, and by the way, the hijacking that they did against the Minnesota Vikings by acquiring Stephon Diggs has led to t-shirts, Stephen Ness, and Who Got Diggs corners asking, what the hell is happening? Why can't we cover this guy? Cole Beasley's the king of the slot. I try to tell you guys, when it comes to the slot position, Cole Beasley is the man to trust. This is his first 1,000-yard season. Thank you, Dallas. Gabriel Davis, UCF alum. He's a star in the making. The problem is Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley got too much of the damn limelight. John Brown digressed to the number 3-4, but he was injured all year. Oh, and by the way, they just acquired Kenny Stills. Nice and quietly, he didn't even play against Baltimore. Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs have enough corners for an empty set against this Buffalo Bills squad? I don't think so. The addition of Mario Addison and the defense that held Baltimore to 3 points is going to have a field day with or without Patrick Mahomes.
And I'm glad you brought up Kansas City, sir, because this is a team that everybody and their grandmama is all on the Chiefs bandwagon, if you will, because of one man, I think. I think a lot of it is Patrick Mahomes. Some of it's Travis Kelce. Some of it is the cheetah in Tyreek Hill. Now, listen, they have weapons on all facets. But what we saw yesterday with that defense against, as you would call them, the irrelevant Cleveland Browns was something to behold, because Andy Reid and his entire coaching staff drew up the plays, and the Kansas City Chiefs executed them damn near to perfection, if you will. So please, sir, give me some insight, if you will, as to what Buffalo needs to do to be successful on Sunday and make their way down here to Tampa for Super Bowl 55.
Coach Dabble plays chess, not checkers. If you've been paying attention to what he's done all season, he plays games with defenders. The defense is never on cue. There's only been 2 times where the defense was on point, and that's only because Buffalo was forced to throw because they were down. That was Tennessee and Kansas City. Arizona was a shootout, and it took a Hail Murray. Dabble, simple strategy, aggression. They weren't aggressive against the Kansas City Chiefs the first time they met in Week 6. Look for him to be ultra aggressive against this Kansas City Chiefs defense that bent but didn't break against the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to say this as nicely as possible. The Cleveland Browns are not the Buffalo Bills.
And you're absolutely right about that, sir. Now, let me ask you a question, because we still do not know the status of what Patrick Mahomes is going to be for Sunday. So, with that being said, we got a glimpse of what Chad Henne was able to do, which coined the hashtag anything is possible. If Buffalo has to play Chad Henne, the Chad Henne-led Kansas City Chiefs, granted it's one man, they still have Tyreek Hill, they still have Travis Kelce, they still have the necessary weapons. What is Buffalo's strategy, in your opinion, going to be for facing a Chad Henne-led Kansas City Chiefs?
This is for all the haters who decide to watch this after the replay because this is live. The Bills Mafia doesn't give a damn if it's Chad Henne or Patrick Mahomes. We want that smoke. We want Mahomes, so there is no excuse. Now, if it's Chad Henne, the celebration can't come early because they will be at home, and I expect Kansas City to get some calls. We're not worried about Chad Henne. And I can tell you, Leslie Frazier, Coach McDermott, Coach Dabble, they're not planning for Chad Henne. We're planning for Patrick Mahomes. With that said, with Patrick Mahomes, make him uncomfortable. Take away Travis Kelce. Tremaine Edmonds and maybe a safety over the top is going to take away Linus, his security blanket. As far as that rush defense, they were against the Cleveland Browns. But then again, I already mentioned, don't compare Cleveland to Buffalo. Number 2, the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. Okay, fine. Tre'Davious White, he might get 1, might even get 2. That's all right, because that shot's not going to be there all night. One man can't beat you. That's Jordan rules. Look for them to expose the offensive line weakness because they're missing Tardif because he's fighting a good fight being a doctor. And that left tackle, he's been kind of wheezy as of late. You take away his weapons, he has to run and be mobile. And that's the last thing you want to do with the man that's coming out of concussion protocol.
Fair enough. Last point, my brother. And again, thank you for joining me here on the Sports Screen tonight. This is Mr. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun Review. Central Florida's oldest black newspaper has some tremendous articles that everybody needs to read, especially Code 1215. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sir, I need you to give me, please, an X factor for Buffalo Bills this Sunday. And then more importantly, I need you to give me a final score.
Running game. Kansas City won this first matchup by establishing and controlling the running game. You can't have that in Arrowhead. The first matchup was in Buffalo. It was cold, it was snowy, it was wet, it was rainy. If Buffalo's going to win this game, they have to keep the Kansas City defense honest. Look, blow for blow, it's a fight. Kansas City has weapons. Buffalo has weapons. Kansas City has nobody for Stephon Diggs. But on that same token, Tyreek Hill can bust out. I already told you the floor plan for Travis Kelce. We need other people on the offense to step up. Devin Singletary, Devontae Freeman, who just got signed off the practice squad, by the way. See, I do keep up with some teams. What do I know? They need to establish a running game that's going to work. Screens are just long handoffs. If they can keep the Kansas City defense honest, they can't play man coverage against this 5-wide receiver front. They're going to get burnt like toast. Look for Buffalo to be aggressive. They will never have a better opportunity to knock off the defending champions.
And your final score, sir?
Buffalo 31, Kansas City 20.
Alex Fleming, Florida Sun Review, Fantasy and Flavors, Magic Perspective, Raptors Report, a football world, and we just live in it. My brother, thank you for your time this evening. I really appreciate you. I will definitely talk to you very soon.
Let freedom ring. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy Martin Luther King Day, my brother. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 down, and I got 1 to go. When I come back, my brother, Mr. Michael Caratanudo, since he is out west, is going to be talking to us about the reigning defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs and what they are going to do to hold down the fort and get themselves to Tampa. More with the Sports Arena. I'll be back in a moment. Thank you for all joining me here on the Sports Arena tonight. Of course, your man, Eric Wilson. So 2 down, and let me get my man, Mr. Michael Caratanudo, in here, out west, joining us from Arizona, but he is covering the Chiefs for this particular segment here tonight. Mike, man, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing, just chilling, doing good, enjoying the 70-degree weather during the day.
Oh, wow. 70 during the day. What's it at night? Like 55, 60, something?
It's dropping to low 50s, mid 40s. So, yeah, I wish it was, whatever. There's no real winter here, but nobody wants to hear people in our states complain about any kind of weather. But when it's 120, you can't shovel sunlight because it beats down on you. That's all I got to say.
Fair enough. So, Mike, let's talk about Kansas City, my brother, because Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately, did go out in the third quarter on Wednesday, but they still were able to get the job done with Chad Henne. But, my brother, you've got a very tall task this week. Buffalo Bills, the team that you and I have been on the same page about their success and what we know they're capable of doing. So let me ask you a question. If Patrick Mahomes does not play on Sunday, Kansas City with Chad Henne at the helm, are they capable of getting the job done?
I mean, you look at the talent, and it's your boy, it's your coach. See, I knew why you wanted me to cover the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric, because you wanted me to because I have to compliment Andy Reid when he was with Philadelphia. First guy to he hosted 3 straight NFC Championship games. Now they're hosting their third straight AFC Championship game with him in Kansas City. But look, we talked about the offensive weapons all year, and yes, depth-wise, it's the NFL. I get it. Chad Henne is not Patrick Mahomes. Chad Henne also almost ran for a first down on a 3rd and 14, and then look, as our boy Stuart Scott would say, as cool as the other side of the pillow when he dropped off that 4th and 1 to Tyreek Hill. But you have the weapons. I mean, you know, they're getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back next week. Obviously, Williams had a great day rushing. And then you have Le'Veon Bell. And I mean, and you signed Le'Veon Bell for reasons like this too. I mean, they didn't touch a ball a ton last week, which surprised me a little bit, but it's Andy Reid. It's the puppet master. So look, is it going to be different with Chad Henne? Yeah, but Sean McDermott speaking today is no fool in knowing that you can Andy Reid is the king, as you know, of mixing up formations, Eric. I mean, I know he's not calling the offense, but still he has a huge, obviously, input in it. So it's one of those things where, you know, I look at that and, you know, what could you see Tyreek Hill, you know, lining up in the backfield a lot? You put receivers back there, it makes it tough, especially if they bleed out, because now you don't have a corner on him, you have a linebacker on him. Good luck. Again, and Chad Henne has to get him the ball. I get it. There was a 1 interception. But look, I'm not going to count Andy Reid out. But yeah, to your other side, I mean, it sounds, of course, like I'm waffling because it's tough because I've been on the Bills also. I mean, like you said, we've agreed on it all year long. I mean, I like what they did last year. I was shocked that they, you know, choked that 16-0 lead away to the Texans, just the way they were playing. And Josh Allen felt that he looked relaxed, and then it's like they got up 16-0, and then he really starts pressing. And Deshaun Watson, well, he was Deshaun Watson. So, but yeah, I mean, you're the Chiefs. Yeah, of course you're worried. I mean, we've seen it all over today, and just reaching out to some people, texting some people. It's like, you know, it's Monday. He said he felt good. You know, the conspiracy theorists that are saying, "Oh, there's no way the NFL lets him sit out." Yeah, if this was 1995, you're right. You're not sitting out. But look, I said yesterday, I mean, to a lot of people I was watching the game with, you know, all kidding aside, but he's going to pull a Terrell Owens. I mean, I think he's going to be sleeping in dark rooms because concussions, obviously, bright light, not good. In a hyperbaric chamber in dark rooms. He's got the money to afford it. Yeah, people laugh, but I mean, T.O. played a Super Bowl on one leg. Granted, I know it's not a concussion, but it's a receiver and it's running. And he played a Super Bowl and I told you, even though it was your team, and you know how I feel to this day, he should have been MVP. I don't care if they didn't win the game.
Right.
He was the best player out there
Right.
on one leg. So, I mean, or 1.5, you know, if you want to say with the injury, but still.
Well, as he said, he was 81%, so he was good to go.
There you go. Exactly. Yes, that was T.O. always had the wonderful quotes. But no, I mean, but look, you focus on the Chiefs, and you know, defensively, look, Tyrann Mathieu's going to make a play game. You know, you got to figure, can he pick off Josh Allen? Josh Allen has not been turning the ball over. That hasn't been. I mean, the fumbles, I know people say, but look, we all love Stephon Diggs. I mean, I heard Alex obviously talking about it, but the Kansas City secondary is going to be up to task. And if you're Buffalo too, I mean, Eric, the other side of this is, look, Buffalo came out against Baltimore and said, forget running the ball. We're going to call like 25 straight pass plays, which is, even in this day and age, is ridiculously unheard of. I was like, what are you doing? Run the ball. But look, Zach Moss is out. I don't know if they're going to get him back this week. Singletary is good, but when you have kind of that 2-back system and Moss has been pretty dominant, you know, if you're not going to run the ball, you're going to play into Kansas City's hands. Patrick Mahomes or Chad Henne at quarterback or not. So
let's talk about that defense really quick while I got you here tonight on the Sports Arena, because the Kansas City defense has not really been a defense that people are high on, you know, if you will. This team, it's really been about their prolific offense. It's been about what is Patrick Mahomes, what does he have left in his arsenal to really show people, to wow people. I mean, we saw that yesterday on a play where we did not expect him to be able to get the ball out as he was pretty much getting sacked. He slings the ball out to one of his receivers and is able to make a conversion happen. now this defense has started to come alive.
Right.
And I think the Honey Badger has been the focal point. So, Mike, let me ask you, going up against Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and that sneaky guy in the slot, former Dallas Cowboy, Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
What does Kansas City's defense need to do to be able to just stop and contain, if you will, that Buffalo offense?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if you roll coverage to Diggs, which I mean people will do if you're going to play him one-on-one, good luck. But yeah, for the Kansas City defense, I mean, again, I think Buffalo, and look, we know they played in week 6, and we've talked about it before. I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't have, I don't even think if he had 200 yards passing, Eric, it was barely. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but they ran the ball. Buffalo had a chance, and there was a late pick by Daniel Sorensen. And I mean, he's a guy in the secondary that, yeah, I know there's a lot of Chiefs fans I talk to that get frustrated because they'll say, oh, he constantly commits these penalties, but then he comes back 2 plays later, just like yesterday when he had the hit at the goal line. That was the fumble out of the end zone. That was a touchback. Which again, the rule for the defense, I'm all for it, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, you have somebody like Sorensen. That defense is going to have to step up. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu has to make plays, but I mean, between Ward and Breeland, Ward, I mean, at corner, and Breeland, the 2 corners. I mean, and even Fenton when he's in there, it's just one of those things where, I mean, he's your nickel back, but if you're Buffalo, you proved you can throw it 25 straight times. I mean, look, we all know, and Alex just said it too. I mean, that short little dump screen is an extension of the run play. You're not throwing a pick on that one. I mean, it might not. Somebody might blow it up, might get in the backfield, but I think if Moss comes back for Buffalo, the defense will be kept a little more honest. But if you're not going to keep them honest, and you can roll the Honey Badger, again, I'm not saying he can run step for step with Stephon Diggs, but again, playing safety, as you and I both know, you have the angle. So I mean, for Andy Reid, again, you've been there, you've done that. I mean, Eric Bieniemy has done a phenomenal job, and Steve Spagnuolo is still the defensive coordinator. It's a guy that's been to Super Bowls, as we know. He's won Super Bowls, and it's another guy that, again, amidst and again, I mean, obviously, you know how I feel about the hiring, and obviously the Texans made a mockery of Eric Bieniemy. They're the only team that did, but you talk about Steve Spagnuolo, who to me, maybe not a head coach, but is a phenomenal defensive coordinator, and I think
he really is.
Exactly, and we'll see what it does. And like I always said, and like I said a few weeks ago, talking about Eric Bieniemy and what the offense is going to do, but Steve Spagnuolo on the defense, man, Andy Reid hires these guys, man. They've been around the block, I mean, so again, is it going to be the same without Mahomes? Absolutely not. But can Chad Henne deliver? I mean, come on, it was the first. That was in week 17 when he threw 2 touchdown passes. Those were the first. I saw the stat. I was cracking up, Eric. But again, he hasn't been starting. But those are the first touchdown passes he threw since 2014. And I can't believe he's been in the league 13 years. Like when they said that, I'm like, wait, Henne's been in the league 13 years? I'm like, I know. Again, I'm not saying he was the greatest ever, but he's serviceable. And Andy Reid has those guys. Now, yes, if Alex Smith was still the backup, would I say, okay, Kansas City can still win the game.
Right.
But with what they have, I mean, you can move Kelsey around, and I know Alex touched on that about how you defend him. But again, you can't double Eddie, man. And then you have somebody like Hardman. You line him up in the slot, run, kill, back and forth. I mean, again, not every play is smart about it, but they're gonna have those kinks. And Andy Reid, I mean, again, Mahomes with being out anyway. I mean, they start practice tomorrow? Well, I guess Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday is when teams are back on the field usually. So, but I'm sure they're obviously all in the facility tomorrow. I mean, it's the playoffs. I mean, with the it's not like it's college where it's 20 hours. But so I mean, Henne's going to get a ton of snaps, which benefits him a lot if he has to start. Mahomes, okay, yeah, you'd like him to get the snaps, but come on, really? I mean, the toe is, to me, treat the toe too. You got to see what. I mean, he was hobbling with that too, as we saw. So I mean, it'll be tough. But to answer your question about the defense, long story short, Spagnuolo's been there. You have guys that can definitely deliver. I mean, Hitchens definitely a linebacker can deliver. And I mean, Chris Jones up front. They'll have the opportunity, but I think the Ravens just held. I mean, you figure the Ravens just held the Bills to 10 offensive points. Yes, they scored 17, and the pick six counts. But I'm saying you had 10 offensive points. But when people are like talking about that, I'm like, it's still a Ravens defense. Like they're gonna make plays. Like Patrick Queen got better every week. I mean, for a rookie starting, I mean, look, I think overall, I mean, I still would go with Isaiah Simmons when the Cardinals took him. But you're the Ravens. I mean, Patrick Queen was a no-brainer, and his improvement every week at linebacker. So, I mean, you look at the Ravens defense, and people say that it's like, yeah, they put up 40 on defenses, 30 and 40 on defenses that again weren't to the caliber of the Ravens.
Right.
But I mean, can they put up 25 to 35 on the Chiefs? I mean, sure, if they're clicking like that, but I still think the Chiefs can put that up too. So
true. Very true.
And it's tough. Again, look, there's going to be plays that Henny's not going to make that Mahomes would. The interception, yes, it counts. It was a terrible pass. He's just trying to launch a guy downfield. And people are like, oh, he didn't see the guys down there. No, he saw the coverage. He was just hoping his dude can make a play. And he was so amped up, he jacked it 7 yards past a guy that's running full speed. So I get that part. But the advantage, I mean, quarterback-wise, of course, is going to go to the Bills if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play. Because, I mean, like I said to you before, I mean, Josh Allen definitely, people say Aaron Rodgers is an MVP, and I mean, it's not like you can't say, I mean, I still, even though, again, regular season, but what he did and what he means to that team, and unfortunately, if he doesn't get going, it proves that it's tougher for them. But Derrick Henry, to me, is the MVP.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, but again, the Chiefs, there's not that runner on the Bills. I think that intimidates. I love Singletary. Don't get me wrong, and I love Moss, but that's the thing. The Bills defense, the way they played against the Ravens, you can play that against the Bills. You're just gonna have a lot more guys out in the pattern. So again, they're gonna mix it up. To me, it's gonna be a hell of a game. I mean, I think. If it doesn't come down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, even if Mahomes plays or if he doesn't, but even if he doesn't, if it doesn't come down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, I'd seriously be surprised, Derek.
All right. So, Mike, let me ask you before I let you go. And again, Michael Carrottenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Make sure you check this man out. He drops stuff every Friday. Give me your X factor for Kansas City and give me a final score on this game.
Ooh. Well, my X factor is actually going to be Le'Veon Bell offensively. And I say that because, look, like I said, Williams had a good week last week. They were feeding him the rock. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back. You can mix him in. And if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play, another guy that you can put out there in the mix in the backfield that's just a nightmare is Le'Veon Bell. So I think that he is the X factor for the Chiefs. That would be my pick. I mean, I know a lot of people would say Williams, but you saw what he did last week. I think you mix all three of those backs in. I think you'll have to spoon feed Edwards-Helaire, obviously, coming back off the injury. But those backs can be the X factor, to me, led by Le'Veon Bell. Man, final score is just so tough because in the beginning of the season, I mean, I had the Chiefs and the Saints in the Super Bowl. But final score, I'm going to go with 35-31 Kansas City, but I will not be paying to see Buffalo win, as you know, because, again, it's not like either one of my teams, but at the same time, I love what the Bills do. I love Sean McDermott's attitude. And, of course, as you know, he coached for Andy Reid in Philadelphia. So, I mean, Andy Reid. So, I mean, that's going to be a hell of a matchup in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 35-31 Chiefs, but I could see it being 35-31 Bills too. So, I mean, and all I have to say now though is, Eric, it pains me because I normally I didn't mind as a kid growing up when the NFC won 13 straight, but whoever wins the AFC needs to win the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying. Because I love Jake, but I despise the Packers, and since the Saints are gone, and I mean, Tom Brady, the offense, their offense, look, if they play a crap offensive first quarter like that against the Packers, Packers should steamroll them. But yeah, whoever comes out of the AFC is And you could always root for Andy Reid, so I know that. So yeah,
Oh, yeah,
whoever comes
of
out of
course.
the AFC,
Listen,
that's
I don't have a
who I
horse in
want.
this fight, so I'm
Neither
just
do I.
thankful. I'm just thankful to be watching. My brother Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, man. Mike, thank you so much for joining me, my brother. Definitely will talk to you soon, man. Have a great night. That's going to do it for your man, Eric Wilson, here on the Sports Arena. I've got one left to go, and as soon as I can get our girl, Miss Ruth the Truth, as busy as she is, as soon as she can grace us with her presence, I'm going to love to get her Tampa Bay feel, because the vibe up there in the 813, I'm sure, is off the charts. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here tonight on the Sports Arena. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Definitely talk to y'all really soon. Have a great night.